Yo, what's up, guys? Good morning. I am, getting ready to have a full day ahead of me, actually getting prepared for a call that we've got coming up at noon for our Pinterest traffic workshop, which I'm pretty excited about. A lot of great things happening in there. A lot of results are happening, which is always fun to be able to see people going through training and then actually getting results. So really excited to dig into that one there. If you are on this call and you are part of our Pinterest traffic workshop, you should have received an email this morning with our Zoom link where we're going to be meeting at 12 p.m. Eastern time. It'll be myself and my daughter, Alexis. So we'll be doing some reviews of some accounts. I think we have 4 or 5 that we're going to be doing, and then we're going to open it up for some live Q&A. But today I wanted to stay on track, keep this coffee talk going right along. And today we are going to talk about something because, well, I was reminded that I probably should talk about this because I did a coaching call the other day. And one of the questions that this guy asked me, his name is John, by the way, he asked me, he said, if you only had 10 hours per week, what would you focus on? Now, of course, we need to unpack a little bit of like, what are you currently working on? What are your goals? And then what can we do to really further build that out and get consistent and commit to that process? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you guys what we went over. And then if you guys have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them here today. So let's see. If you guys are just tuning in, hopefully we are live. I didn't go over and check the feed on YouTube. If anyone is watching on YouTube, could you guys comment and let me know? Let me know that you can see the feed at least. Also, do you have a certain number of hours that you are dedicating to your business? Just drop that in the comments. And I'm just curious to see if you are currently right now dedicating a certain number of hours per week. All right. That could be an hour a week or an hour a day. It could be maybe 8 hours a week. It could be 20 hours a week. It could be, I don't know how many hours. I'm just going to do it when I can, which I don't know, that can get away from you. So we do want to figure out, at least a certain number that we're going to commit to. I think is really, really important. Because that way there you're guaranteed to work on your business for that amount of time. It also comes down to really making sure that we plan what we're doing when we sit down. So if you sit down for an hour, we want to be very, very focused on what we're doing. And today's conversation really does lend itself well to that discussion, because when you're sitting down and you're very clear on what you're supposed to be working on, well, you're going to get more done and then you're going to get more results. Obviously, we know that if you do more or focus on more things that are towards getting results, you're going to get more results. It's just common sense. So let me see here. Who do we have hanging out with us here today? We have, well, Derek's in the house. What's up, Derek from Atlanta? Karen's in the house. As usual, what's up? Beautiful day out there. Mel is in the house. Happy Saturday to you too, Mel. Okay, good morning, brand rockers. I love that. I think Octavio might have came up with that one, or maybe it was Justin. I forget, but that one there's going to stick. I like that. I like the brand rockers. That sounds cool. Grace, good morning to you. Mel says all of them. Salama, 15 to 20 hours a week. Grace, about 5 a week. Let's see, but for strategy and growth, 20. Okay, I'm full-time, so 12 hours a day. That's yes. And sometimes that could get away from you. And you might want to also figure out how can you cut that down, because 12 hours, are you really working 100% of the time, 12 hours, or are you busy, right? Like we've all done that where we're just like, we're busy, we're working, but are you really working? Or are you just kind of spending some time on something that you're just consuming, or you're like, I'll do that later. The things that really move the needle, I'm going to do this now because this is a little bit easier. What's up, James? Good morning to you too. Salma says, I follow the 80-20 rule. Cool. All right. So let's kick this thing off officially. I am going to be wrapping this up today. Hopefully in 20 to 30 minutes, because I do have another call coming up at 12 and I want to make sure that I'm prepared for that. Again, if you guys are just tuning in and you guys are in our Pinterest traffic workshop right now, this will be our last call for that. If you are on this coffee talk, make sure that you attend that at noon, which will be just in a couple of hours. And we're going to be doing some Pinterest reviews or Pinterest account reviews of our students, and then also some live Q&A. That'll be our last call for the Pinterest traffic workshop. But inside of Brand Creators Academy, we will continue those calls. Which also I should probably mention that some of you have asked, Scott, when is Brand Creators Academy opening? It is opening on July 6th, and we'll be opening for 5 days. If you want to be notified, well, just stay here on the Coffee Talks. You'll hear about it. Or if you go and grab the brand growth validation checklist, our little cheat sheet, you'll also be notified. And you can get that by heading over to brandcreators.com. And if you go there, you'll see the checklist. There's a little box there that says checklist. Go get the checklist. You'll be on that list that will obviously give you more information on building a brand, but also you'll be notified when we open up Brand Creators Academy. So I'll just leave that up. All right. So let's see here. Kate has typed in here too. I spend 15 true hours a week, but we'll bump that up to 20-25 starting next week. Good question, Scott. Made me realize that I'm not really working enough hours on this. True, but maybe true. But we also need to figure out what we're working on and how can we really make that concentrated. Because that's the trick, right? Can you sit down and in the minute that you start, you set a timer for an hour and you're committed to that. And also scheduling the work in the beginning of the day is always good for me. I always try to get the most stuff done in the beginning that I need to get done. That way it's done out of the way. I feel a lot more energy. It's funny. Yesterday, it was Friday. I did my normal Friday stuff, got in the doing stuff in the afternoon, went out to the horse farm with my daughter and stuff. And I was just tired. And I said to my wife, I said, I'm just going to take a little nap, a little power nap. And I literally didn't even sleep, but I sat down, closed my eyes. I was laying there with my Bernedoodle, Maisie, and we just hung out for like 30 minutes. And I felt better once I got done and ready to go again. But I wouldn't have been as creative then as I would have been in the morning. So you kind of want to think about that stuff. All right, cool. So let's talk about this. I'm going to tell you what I had told John. And I think it'll be helpful to you guys. All right. So currently right now, he is building a brand, developing content, creating content. And now he's also in our Pinterest traffic workshop. And he also has an email list from a product that he is selling that is also related to his brand. So he launched his product first. Then he said, oh, I should probably build a brand. So now he's building a brand in that market. But he has emails from people that have purchased a product that is related to his market. So now that he's kind of adopted the let's build a brand mindset that you guys probably have as well. And he's like, I'm going to start developing content. So for the past 3 months, he's been creating content. And I think he said he's got about 8 or 9 articles created. He's trying to do 1 per week. And he said, Scott, I've only got about 10 hours a week to dedicate to this. What would you do? This is what I'm doing. I'm creating 1 article a week on my blog. I write that myself. It takes me a little while to do that. I'm now starting to add this Pinterest, traffic thing to it, right? Where I'm following that strategy. And I just want to know, is there anything else I should do? I have an email list, which I haven't emailed ever, right? So what do I do with that? So here was my plan for him. I said, okay, you got 10 hours. First off, you need to know how long does it take you to create the article? How long are you devoting to filling your buckets with keywords? So those are top priority, right? So right now, we want to build a machine in a sense where you can replicate that process, right? Now, once you kind of get that dialed in, it's going to get faster, right? Because you're doing it more, you're starting to get the machine well oiled, right? And then you can say, well, you know what? That only takes me 6 hours. Now I got 4 extra hours. Now what can I do with those 4 hours? But until you get that machine built or the process built, you shouldn't be thinking about doing all these other things. So what I told him was this: you're already creating your content. You already have enough keyword ideas. So commit to doing one article per week, always. Now, the other thing is, he wasn't doing this. He started doing it, I believe, maybe after he had written maybe 3 or 4 articles. But he's now committing to an exact time and day to publish his content, which is helpful because now it's like, no matter what, you have to push out that piece of content, right? So that's number one. Get that content done. If that's what you're working on for most of your 10 hours, then that's fine. I don't think it will take him that long, but let's just say it's taking 5 hours. Now, the other time, right now, he's doing a lot of the setup for Pinterest. He's doing a lot of that work. Now, once that's in place, now he's going to create one pin. He's going to add it to his post as part of that process. And then he's going to create a couple of other pins that will be different than that one pin that he'll post on some of his various boards. Then he's going to email his list and say, hey, we just posted a new post. Go check it out. That's the process. 10 hours, that's what you're doing every single week. Don't worry about anything else right now, okay? Now, once you get that dialed in, now you can start to say, what else should I be doing? Well, the first thing that I'd be doing is, can I replicate that process somewhat and have someone else write an article for me? Now we take that same exact process, we have someone help us with it, one VA, right? Or one writer, and now we can take that, we can 2x it. Or maybe we get 2 writers and we 3x it because you're writing one, you have 2 writers that are writing each one. Now you're doing 3 articles per week. You're doing 3 Pinterest processes or, part of that process, right? So we have 3 different things going out there on Pinterest that is also leading back to 3 separate posts, right? And we're sending out 3 different emails, right? So that's how we would scale that, okay? Now, the other thing that I was saying to him is like, listen, and this is what I've been talking a lot about here lately because it seems like a no-brainer to do it. We're actually doing it ourselves. We're doing it here in Brand Creators and, the podcast. But we're also doing it now externally into, or we're starting to actually, I'm starting to build the components right now. We're going to probably share that in Brand Creators Academy, by the way, but it's really creating a digital asset that we can then deploy, whether it's to our own list and then sell something on the back end, right? We talked about this yesterday and the day before about building a digital product of some kind. And it doesn't have to be a massive product. But what I said to him is I said, listen, here's how you can kind of do this without doing any extra work right now, right? Because the first thing that you need to have to build one of these digital funnels is you need assets. You need assets in order to offer them, right? Makes sense. So how do you do that? Well, I said, this is what I want you to do. I want you to be more strategic with your posts. So for the next 8 weeks, I want you to, if you're only going to do 1 article per week, I want that to be a chapter in the ebook. Okay. So think about this. You're taking your topic, you're breaking it down. And a great way to do this, by the way, is go to Kindle, find a book in your market and see what the chapters are. There's your posts, right? Like just write about that. Now, don't copy it or plagiarize it or any of that stuff. I'm not saying that. I'm saying just get ideas, right? Because they've already done the research and those are the steps. So I would write 1 blog post 1 week. That's chapter 1. The next one, chapter 2. The next one, chapter 3, and so on. Maybe it's only 6 chapters. Doesn't have to be 8 chapters, right? And so now what we're doing is we're building content. We're also amplifying it on Pinterest, and we're emailing our list, and we're building a product behind the scenes without doing any extra work. Because once we're done, now by that time, we may have this thing well oiled and we're like, well, we've got 4 extra hours this week. What should I do with my time? I need to start building my digital funnel. Okay. That's how I would take my 10 hours and that's all I would focus on. Because here's the deal. Once we get our content being created over and over and over again, we're going to start to get traffic organically from Google, from Yahoo, from Bing, from Pinterest, right? It's going to start to just happen, right? It's going to take a little bit of time, but that's what's going to happen there, right? But in the meantime, a lot of people say, well, Scott, how do I make money quicker? You would do that by offering a digital product if your market lends itself to it, right? A good way to find out if it does, look at other people in your market. Are they offering digital ebooks? Just go search Kindle, go search ClickBank, right? Go through someone else's email sequence. See if they're offering anything that is a digital product, right? Just to give you an idea, okay? Now, from there, all I would do, like I said, is focus on that, because now I'm taking these assets, these digital assets, I'm deploying them out there, and I am getting people back to my website. So now I can also turn on ad networks and start to generate money there. I can mention affiliate products, which also in the ebook, if I mention affiliate products, I can make sales. So that digital product that people can either get for free or would pay for can also have my affiliate links in there, which, by the way, would then earn me more money, right? So there's all of that goes into it. So that's what I would do if all I had was 10 hours a week, and I would just concentrate on that right now. And again, I've been talking to our Brand Creators Academy members. I've been talking to you guys, and this topic of creating a digital funnel with a very low ticket item and then graduate to a little bit more of an expensive item, not much more, like we're talking $9.99 and then $25, something in that range. And then we can turn that into something that we can build our email list. We can also get customers, and then we can then further educate them and further sell them additional things that they need. So that would be the process. All right. So guys, if you have any quick questions on this, let me know. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to jump into the old comments here. I'm going to actually take a sip of coffee too, because none of you guys reminded me of that. You guys were supposed to do that. All right. Let's see. Okay. So, how much time do you spend a week on your business? Typically, I would say concentrated time, I would probably say 5 to 6 hours a day. That's about what I commit to, okay? In the morning, and I would say up till about 2 o'clock, and I take breaks and I'll take a walk or whatever, but I would say, you say 9 to 12, and then maybe 1 to 2, 1 to 3, something in that range. Now, does that mean I'm not thinking of things? Does that not mean that I am, I'm not answering emails? I can tell you that. I'm not doing that like after dinner and stuff. The only time I would ever jump into email is if I was going through a product launch. That's the only time. Other than that, I'm not going to get distracted at night. And also, I don't want to go to sleep with a problem that I have to solve, right? I don't want to go to bed with that on my mind. So let's see here. Grace, sometimes we think we have 20 hours, but in reality, we only have 8. I work a full-time job, so I want to be realistic with the time I have working on my brand. Right. And that's why it's important, if you are working full-time, to have this concentrated time, and you want to know exactly what you're focusing on. But you got to have a strategy. You got to have a plan. You got to build out your plan in order to execute the plan, right? We can't go and say, oh, I think I want to build a house over there. Let's just start digging. No, you can't. You got to figure out, like, what type of foundation are you going to put down? What kind of house are you going to have on it? What kind of interior are you going to have in it? What kind of roof are you going to put on it, right? What kind of air are you going to put in it, and heating and all of that stuff, right? What kind of plumbing? All of that stuff can't be decided until we get the foundation figured out, and then we got to build from there. But you got to have a plan. You got to have a blueprint. Do you schedule time to think? A lot of times thinking is on my walks, to be honest with you, or in the shower, to be honest. That's when I can generally get some good thinking time. But yeah, sometimes I will just want to take a walk with no music, no podcast, nothing to influence my thoughts, and then just think and just kind of go from there. But yeah, I definitely do. And I think morning is my favorite time to do that because it's fresh. I feel good. It feels better. And I just feel like my mind is better awake and I can think better. Derek, I have to learn how to balance exercise, day job, and building out a side business and brand. It is difficult to juggle it all. Right. But that's why you need a schedule. You need to build yourself a schedule. You already know when the work is, right? So now you got to build almost around that. Okay. So then it's like, okay, when could you get exercise in? When are you going to feel the most, interested in doing an exercise routine? What I've done personally is I haven't committed to a exercise routine what I've done is I've installed these little tiny habits throughout my day. And I've mentioned that here. A walk is always first thing. And I actually have been doing a hill climb. So it's pretty tough, but it feels good when I get done, right? So that's installed. It's part of the day. Some push-ups, a little bit of workout in the garage while I'm letting my coffee brew, whatever. Like, so those are ways that you can get that done in between. And it doesn't really take away from your day, and you're not committing to a 30-minute workout. Now, I do want to commit to a 30-minute workout, but just not right now. Because I know that it will just feel like another task that I have to do, and I'm not ready to commit to that yet. I know that. So why not install that throughout the day? Working on your own stuff, that is also going to have to be your time. You need to block that off in your calendar, and then that's the time that you sit down. Part of that is going to be you sitting down during that time and planning out what does your week look like? What are you trying to accomplish? What should you be focusing on? And then you go from there. Karen, what's up? When I had a day job where I worked 65 hours a week, making a schedule and keeping it was vital. Yes, big time. Do I just get less sleep to get more done? I don't want to be sleep deprived. Well, here's the deal on that. And I do have some thoughts on that. I very rarely will work on something after like 9 o'clock at night, right? Like if I was doing a project, it would be before 9 o'clock at night. And I very rarely ever now work on anything past like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. Okay. I try not to. But when I was either building another business alongside another business, or even when I was working my full-time job and trying to build a photography business, I did lose sleep. And that was the sacrifice I had to do, because that's the only time that I had. I wanted it so bad to make this work over here that when my kids would go to bed, I was up. And I would sit here at 9 o'clock till 12 o'clock. And then I would go to bed and I'd get up at 5:30 and I would go off to work, right? So that's what worked for me. But I had to do that for a while. And you're right. I was, losing some sleep, but it was so important that I did it. And it's the only time that I could do it without taking away from my family. Because I could have did it when the kids were, when I got home at 6, 7 o'clock at night and I had this little gap, but that was my time to spend with them. So I chose to stay up late. It's just what I did. Now I didn't do it all the time. If I was working on something, if I was in the process of building out something, or maybe I had to edit pictures, or maybe I had to edit videos. I mean, I was doing a lot of video transfer work too, right? I'd have hours upon hours of videos that I would have to transfer. So I had to, stay up late and run film, right? So you got to sacrifice sometimes. I'm not saying it's right for everyone, but that's what I've done. So when people say they don't have time, I'm like, well, okay, let's take a look at your day. And then we can generally find an hour, whether that's up early, staying up later, we can find that hour if you really want what you want. Do you pay $30 an article for a VA to write blog? Generally, it's about $30. Anywhere from $30 to $40 is about what we pay. What would be a minimum pages for an ebook? As many as it needs to be. All you want to be concerned with is it delivering the result that you're promising in the book, right? If it is, then you're good. Don't just try to add more because you want it to be 40 pages. Doesn't need to be. I've had ebooks that were 40 pages. I've had ebooks that are, well, even this is technically an ebook, 107 pages, right? But I didn't set out and say, I need to make this thing 100 pages. No, I just said, I'm going to put in the information that is going to give people exactly what they need. And it just happened to be 107 pages, right? So no, there's no minimum. Derek, I need to find a way to automate process after I dial it down. Do you have any time management tool or calendar system that you use? I have Outlook and Excel and all the tools in Microsoft. How do I take advantage of these tools? Or is there some tool that I use to schedule my time more productively? I don't like Google Sheets. I know Word and Excel. Yeah, I mean, it's the same. It doesn't matter, Google Sheets or whatever. You need to come up with a calendar system that works for you. And for me personally, number one, I put everything in my Google calendar. So everything gets put in there. And then I map out my week on paper. So I literally will take a notepad, which I have, handy at all times. And then I'll just map out my week there. And I just go by that. I just go by that calendar and that schedule. That's how I do everything. So, you got to ask yourself, what is the point in using a tool. A tool isn't going to do it for you. It's going to remind you of what you need to do to follow along. So you may need to do it as like every single hour of the day for a while until you kind of get into a rhythm. But you do need to carve out that certain amount of time. I bought the book, The Tiny Habits. Is that the book you mentioned? I also bought John Gordon's books. I'm starting with Tiny Habits. Thanks for the recommendations. Yes, Tiny Habits. I don't have it on my desk here right now, but Tiny Habits was huge for me because we go through a lot of these productivity books, and it seems like you have to create this massive schedule or these massive changes, and it comes down to small, tiny habits. So literally, don't think you have to go like Derek. Don't think that you have to go and figure out your system down to a T, and you're gonna map out every single thing. Start with 1 or 2 things and just install them into your day, right? So again, I'll just give you a very, very perfect, easy example to understand. Okay, so in the morning, okay, one of my tiny habits that I have been doing ever since I read that book, which is over 2 months now, and I haven't missed a day, is when I get done getting ready, okay, get done showering, and before I actually head out of the bathroom and go into the kitchen area, I go right on the counter and I'll do right now I'm up to 60, but I was doing 50 in the beginning, 50 push-ups. And the reason why I'm doing them against the counter is because in the morning I've been known to injure myself if I do standard push-ups. So what I do is I do my 50, but now I'm up to 60. I added 10 and I do those. And then after I get done with that, I stretch a little bit and then I do close grip. So I get in here and I do these inner ones and then I'm done, right? So that there takes me less than 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and I'm done. And guess what? I got like 70 plus push-ups in before I ever go out into the world, let's say, like out into the kitchen area, because that's when I'm like, okay, I'm ready. Here we go, right? So that's one tiny habit that I installed, and it happens every single day because every day I get ready, right? So I know that that's going to get done, okay? Another one that I've installed in there is when I am brewing my first part of my coffee, I do two K-cups go in here, one large, one medium. I have a whole process there. And so what that does is it gives me a cup about half full, but while that's going, I head out into the garage and I go to my little rack system. I've got a little workout system in there, and then I'll pick something. I'll be like, you know what? Today I'm going to do curls. I'll take 25-pound dumbbells and I'll do 25 curls. When I'm done, I drop them. I go in the house. I hit the second part of my coffee. Boom. I hit go. I come back in my office here and I do planks. And then from there, I'll do like a bent over stretch. And then from there at the very end, I get up and I just do like really long, elongated type stretches to the ceiling to try to get my body loose and that stuff. And then I'm done. And then I come out and guess what? Then I'm ready to do the last part of this. And that's put my butter in and do the blender. And then I'm ready, right? But all of that happened in that process of making the coffee. Because guess what? Every single day, I make a cup of coffee. So that's a trigger for me. Coffee, hit go, garage. Okay. Second part of the coffee, hit go, office, stretch, planks, done. Right. So now before I even start my day, I've got 70 push-ups done. I've got a workout part in my garage. Today I did actually bench press. So I did 25. I took 40-pound. I used to do a lot more than 40s, but not, again, I don't want to get hurt. So I'm like, I'm going to take 40-pound dumbbells and do some bench presses, hold my legs up, and I just do 40 presses on the bench. I come back inside, right? Then I'm ready for the second part. Come into the office. Tiny habit. Every day without fail. Now, am I going to become a massive bodybuilder because of that? No. But am I doing more than I was doing before? Yes. Right? So that's how we can install a tiny habit. That's for exercise. You can do that for anything, right? The minute you walk in the door, the first thing that you do is X, right? What is the one thing that you want to do that you haven't been doing because you get sidetracked because you go into email? Maybe it's the first thing you do is don't check email. like that's a tiny habit. Don't check email. First thing you're going to do is you're going to plan out your week on Monday. And then maybe Tuesday's like, now what is that next thing that you're going to be doing on your task list? And you only do that. That's step one. That's your tiny habit. So you need these triggers. All right, let's see here. Do you break down your weekly tasks from your 90-day goals? No, not really. I don't get 90-day goals. It's a long time. A lot can happen. There is a 90-day window, but I don't look that far out generally. I mean, I'll say, okay, in 90 days, we're going to launch Brand Creators Academy. So obviously I got to work backwards there a little bit, but I don't get so like, I guess, small as far as the tasks go, although I know that's where I'm heading, right? So then we'll just kind of build backwards from that or whatever project. It doesn't really matter. But you have routine stuff that has to happen anyway. Like I'm always sending out emails. It doesn't matter if it's to you guys for brand creators or the podcast, or if it's for another brand that I'm working in either our e-commerce brand or if it's in our content site brand. It doesn't really matter. I'm sending emails as a routine, right? So that's not even in the 90-day thing, right? But yes, if we're working towards that, it's like, okay, how are we? So right now, how do I get more attention to this? Because if I get more attention to this, I'll have more qualified people when I open Brand Creators Academy, right? So there it is, a 3-month out thing. And then I got to work backwards. The goal is to get more people that are interested in building a brand by getting them to download the checklist and also go through this. That's the goal. That's all my focus is. How do you do that? I show up on Coffee Talks. How else do I do that? I email my list, right? How else do I do that? I might write a blog post. How else do I do that? I do a podcast episode that's around something in here, right? That's all I'm ever doing. I'm just thinking about how do I bring attention to this stuff by helping people in things that they need to know that they can also learn in here. That's it. So that's how I work backwards. Hey, Justin, about time. Don't forget to sip your coffee. I will. Thank you. Yeah, thanks for that. I appreciate that. James, you asked yesterday what guitars I have as my pick. Those are the Kissels. Kiesels. They're not mine. Oh, okay. I don't know if I've ever heard of them. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. They're not mine. I'm thinking about doing my first build. That's why I chose that pick. Oh, cool. Nice. Karen, I will be doing a Facebook as this week. Where do I find how to do this in BCA? I will be doing I'm not sure what you mean, Karen, of doing a Facebook or an FB. Let me know what you mean on that. And also you can always ask a question inside of Brand Creators Academy, Karen. Yeah. I believe it's Mike. I believe. Exercise is medicine. Ha ha ha. Yes, it is. You are right. Haha. While I wait for my coffee, I empty or fill the dishwasher. There you go. Tiny habit. Done. I pray while my tea is sipping. There you go. Right? Whatever it is, install it. I'm going to plan out a schedule now as a task so I will stop getting sidetracked. Exercise, diet, work. Yes. And remember, your mental health is so important that you really do need to make that a priority. I personally don't know how people get up, get their coffee or whatever, and then just sit down and start answering emails or start like putting out fires. Like, oh, it's just a terrible way to start. It's like then you're starting in this, I don't know, you're in a reactive mode versus it being, where you're able to, just, I guess, feed yourself with really positivity, because we need to bring that up before we start adding anything negative to the mix. Let's see. Oh, thanks for the videos. No problem. You got it. All right, Mike. Thank you. I'm glad I got that. A Facebook ad this week. I found the info I was looking for. Oh, cool. Yeah. There is Facebook ad training in there. It's in the giveaway list building section, Karen, but you can always ask in the group and we'll guide you there. I haven't heard Facebook groups are the thing now. I've heard Facebook groups are the thing now. What kind of things? They've always been a thing. It's just a matter of building a community, but it's also something you have to maintain. So just be careful there. They used to be called Carvin. Oh, Carvin. I know Carvin. Yeah. Okay. I need to do the same thing, Derek. Yeah. Cool. All right. So guys, we are going to have to wrap here today because, well, I've got a call coming up at what time? 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern. So if you guys are on this call right now and you're part of our Pinterest traffic workshop, make sure that you show up today on our live call. We're going to be doing a review or some reviews of some of the students that we have in the training and going through their accounts. And then tomorrow we'll do something a little bit more on the mindset piece. And you guys know on Sundays, I generally do that. So definitely come back, hang out with us. If you guys have not grabbed the brand growth validation checklist, you might want to do so, brandcreators.com. And then the other link I'll give you real quick is this one right here, brandcreatorsbook.com. This here is our playbook. This is what we teach. This is what we share inside of the Academy. And speaking of the Academy, if you're interested, be ready on July 6th, because that's when we're opening enrollment, and we'll be doing that for 5 days. And I know some of you have been asking about that, so I just wanted to throw that out there. And if you are grabbing this, you will be notified when we open for sure. All right. So guys, do me one last favor. If you know someone that you think would get value from these coffee talks, just invite someone. You can send them an email with the link to the Facebook post or just to the Facebook page. If you go to Take Action Crew right there, that'll take you to the Facebook page, and then you can turn on your notifications and you'll be notified when we go live. If you're listening to this or watching this on YouTube, I am going to link up the playlist right here of all the past coffee talks. And what I would like you to do is choose one, go back in the archives, choose one that will help you with whatever you need help with right now, and do that. Don't go through all of them. There's over 80 of them there now, depending on when you're watching this. Go through them, find one that you find will help you, and then go through that one right now. All right. And I'll link that up in the description as well. All right, guys. So have an awesome, amazing day. I want to thank you guys for showing up on a Saturday. It's bright and sunny here. Hopefully it's sunny where you are. And let's go out there and try to lift someone up in this really crazy time that we're living in. And let's just try to be really kind to one another, help each other, and know that we can all make a difference and just allow our world to become a better place than it is right now. All right. So guys, have an awesome day. Take care, take action, and I'll see you guys tomorrow, or I'll see you on the upcoming Pinterest traffic workshop. Take care. Bye.